Well, I'd like to welcome you to the third of the 5 concerts at the 2013 CDH. To the right are 2 young men who are definitely, I consider, musical geniuses who have done things to Contra dance music that no one else has done before. And we're all that much richer for it. And I heard from a credible source, though, that their first year of life, they were pretty horrible. But since then, since the age of 1-year-old, this credible source has said they have been perfect.
Is that what we
The
are
great
calling them now?
Andrew
The credible
and
source? Of all of Mom's nicknames, the credible source? Really?
She's telling some fat lies sometimes.
Fate's a funny thing.
around the campfire.
Let's see, so this is my 4th year at CDH.
Who's been coming longer than 4 years? I mean, right?
Yeah, so who's been here, what number CDH is this?
11.
This is 11. Anybody here been here, like, all 11 of them? Awesome, guys. So 11 years ago, what was that? That would have been like...
1842.
Yeah.
What year was it?
Ago. 2002.
3.
Right.
That's
Well,
when
it's
Return
New
of the
Year's,
King
so it's
came out.
confusing. Yeah. I mean, 11 years is a long time, right? And,
I was 14. I had a really big crush on Kaylin. She didn't love me back. 2003.
well, I kind of like to think. I've been thinking about this sort of stuff a bit lately, because, we officially put Great Bear together, in like the year 2000. And like we've been playing music ahead of that, and we've been playing music together, and we had some gigs, but like that was when we sort of like came up with a name and played, like kind of decided that we were going to play for Contradancers and sort of started this whole thing. And so, that's a while ago now. And I've known a lot of you folks most of that time. Or at least like a good portion of it. Like a good portion of you, I've known a good portion of that amount of time. And that's crazy. I don't know. I feel just sort of like
We love
yeah. But it's worth thinking about. Like, when we were, so I guess I would have been like, I don't know, 14 or so at the time when we kind of like started this, and all through like high school and all that time, like well, I don't know, but the dance community has been always been a big part of that. You guys, like, oh, thank you. You guys bring us like wire clippers and stuff. I don't know.
It's just like a real family.
It's cool though. Like we've spent so much of the past like 14 years on the road. We've traveled so much, and it's really, it's not always easy, but it is really cool. Like you just show up places and you play music, and like we've just sort of like made this life out of playing music and dancing and sharing like late nights and campfires and songs and stories together, and people always like put us up and feed us food, and it's been years. Like
Gotta
this
pay
thing
the bills somehow.
No, yeah. Like sometimes when we're like, if we gotta get ready for a dance and we're like not really feeling it for whatever reason, it's like, yeah, it's back to the mines, right? Like, I don't know. It's some. Yeah, exactly. It's like this is a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. So thank you, folks, and it's lovely to see you all again here. I have great feelings about this place. So
I thought I had already summed that up with "I love you guys."
just clip it off too. So we're gonna play. We don't really have like a set list worked out or anything, but we thought we'd just kind of like play some tunes by the fire while we all kind of
Reminisce about 2003.
yeah, enjoy the pasta aftertaste.
I don't know about that one. You might be on your own on that one.
Let's see. Let's do what should we do next?
Tune. We probably should play music pretty soon.
Yeah, we should. Okay, cool. That's a bit nicer. This is one Noah barely knows.
that what it's called?
You know what one?
All night long, I'm daydreaming. Gee, we practiced this. G. Yes, one sharp. So it means you can play this string. All night long, I'm daydreaming, daydreaming about wonderful you. Suddenly, I see you before me. When we kiss and you whisper you adore me, even though I know I'm only daydreaming, please tell me I'm not daydreaming. Please tell me I'm not wrong. Darling, daydreaming all night long. All night long, I'm daydreaming, daydreaming about wonderful you. Suddenly I see you before me. When we kissed and you whispered you adore me, even though I know I'm only daydreaming. Please tell me I'm not daydreaming. Please tell me I'm not wrong. Darling, daydreaming all night long.
Okay, it was in the key of G, but there are a lot of other chords chords in there. Seems to have pretty good.
Kind of a deep.
Hey. We got plenty of time. What do you want to play?
What about the fiddle tune, the one we played the other day?
We're going to play the fiddle tune we played the other day. That narrows it down.
This what do we call it? Coleman's. This is called Coleman's March. One of my favorite fiddle tunes.
What key did it?
Key 5.
This is a tune Andrew was writing, and we were trying to find a key for it. And he was like, yeah, we'll play it in D. And I'm like, sweet, D. D's easy. I got D, that's fine. And then, like, 2 seconds later, you go, actually, you know what? E flat's really where it's gotta be. I'm like, no! It was almost in D! Now it's an E flat! Ah! So I cross-tuned my fiddle, so it's still in D!
Yeah.
Classy.
Not to let that stop you. Yeah, I want to give this tune a try. Go ahead. I'll let you do it. What do you think?
Oops. Even my tuner doesn't think I want E flat. Good as D.
So this is a tune I wrote over the summer. I had a pretty interesting. Hey, how many of you folks know Frank Clayton? Some of you must know Frank Clayton. He knows you. Yeah.
He knows you. All of you.
Was a Frank? Yeah, probably. Frank's a very good friend of mine. I wouldn't say he's a close friend, but he's a very, very good friend of mine. We were at have you guys been to Whitewater Whirl? It's a fun dance weekend. It's got to be kind of near here, right? South of here or something like that. And we did this maybe quite a while ago. We did that weekend. And, it was great fun, great time as always. Show up, play your tunes. And as many of you know, I'm a pretty avid bird watcher. Yeah, shocking, right? Wow. I'm really into birds. And so that's just sort of like a topic that often just comes up because I talk about it a lot. And so I was talking with Frank, and that topic came up, and Frank said, "Oh, I'm a birder," and so we kind of like feel each other out because like when you meet someone and say like, "Oh yeah, I like birds," they're like, "Well, you like watching the birds that come to your bird feeder because that's great." But like some of us are a little beyond that. So it's sort of like this very polite, but like we sort of like, oh, okay, so what are some things you've seen lately? And you kind of go back and forth like this, sort of like asking each other like these little questions, trying to like figure out how serious you are. And I don't know, this was a few years ago, but at the time I probably was around 400 or so for North America, which is not like a ton, but I was I was like really into it at the time. I was like adding a bunch of stuff and so like it seemed like we were both birders. So I was like, oh yeah, well I just hit 400 or whatever, and we were both very pleasant to each other. But Frank didn't say anything. I was like, oh well, okay. So if he's listing, if he's a real bird lister, then what do you like? What's your number? Because we had gotten to that point in the conversation where we both knew that both of us were like serious birders.
Wow, this is comfortable.
But like I told him what I'd seen, and he hadn't really told me what he'd seen. Now, admittedly, he's like 30, 40 years older than I am. Okay.
Trouble.
But anyway, we're like just sort of like feeling each other out, and it was like, okay, I'll ask. What have you seen? He's like, oh, I think I'm somewhere, close to 7. So there are only like 600 birds in North America. So Frank's like hardcore. Like he spent tons of time in Alaska and tons of time in Texas chasing all the super rare stuff that only barely gets into the country. And so that was awesome, and we talked a bunch and got to be very good friends over that. think we saw Swainson's Warbler that weekend.
Where are you going with this story?
Anyway. Yeah.
Where?
So anyway, Frank's been in Europe for the past few years for a job and to see. I think he has some kids who live in Denmark, so he was over there and had sent me several emails about this open invitation to come and stay with him in Germany and go birding and just be a fun thing. I hadn't been able to take him up on it until this past summer, and it kind of like things sort of aligned, and I got to go to the Gentines folk dance festival in France, which was amazing, and then also spend a whole bunch of time with Frank, and yeah, it was just a really, really neat trip. Gentines was amazing, and the birds and everything about being in Europe was really just super cool and really affected me in a big way. And so we kind of get to Gentines, and it's just surrounded by, it's really crazy, like Gentines is in France, and it's, you're just...
Okay, can I take this song when I introduce my song?
Gentines is a folk dance festival, kind of like Flurry, like sort of picture Flurry for those of you who've been there. It's kind of like that, except it's in the summer, and it's in this like beautiful farm in France. And the crazy thing about it is that like there are like 1 trillion different languages there, and everybody is from a different country, and so there's just like this really nuts festival vibe where like people were really intentional about everything that they did, because if they weren't, no one would understand what you were doing or saying or like anything. Like everyone was just like so invested in being who they meant to be, like right then and there. It was just this wonderful thing, and I was just surrounded by all this amazing music and dancing, and so this song kind of came out of that, like out of this idea, like all this stuff and all this pressure and all this I don't know, this idea of what you really want to do and who you really want to be. And yeah, so I was feeling sort of homesick, but also inspired, and that's where this tune came from.
You didn't tell us what 7 means.
Oh, 700.
Oh yeah, 700 species of birds. He's still missing. I think he's missing Ross's gull. I think that's the only one in North America. And I almost got to chase it this winter, but it was one in Montreal, and it got away from me. Oh, well. That is officially beside the point. Even I can tell you that has nothing to do with this story.
So we'd like to dedicate this song to that Ross's Go.
Slow me down, sugar babe. Slow me down, it's a revolution day. Sometimes it's the sun and sometimes it's the rain. Slow me down, sugar babe. You can't love what you don't know, and there's still such a long way to go. I believe that I'll reap just what I sow. Slow me down, sugar babe. Sometimes it's the sun and sometimes it's the rain. Slow me down, sugar babe. Darling, I don't know what's best. Won't you please hold me to your breast? 'Cause I did what I could and I couldn't do the rest. Slow me down, sugar babe. Slow me down, my sugar babe. Slow me down, it's a revolution day. Maybe I could learn to look the other way. Slow me down, sugar babe. Yeah.
Back down.
You can probably be mandolin in a tune if you want.
Well, I gotta get this tune eventually.
Okay. So I wonder if we met maybe Racing the Sun.
Sure. Alright, I'm bored. Bored of that. I'll do that later. This is the tune I wrote. Now, let me tell you a story. I almost started that. Back in the 70s. I was looking to find a different kind of state and mind. You had a car and a tank of gas to west, heading out a day of my past. Let's try and see if maybe we make it to the sea. We were racing the sun, but day after day the sun always won. Even if we kept on driving long after the day was done. We were racing the sun. cars, buckets of rust we had to trust would keep us off the bus. Saw a sign and it read 200 more miles, San Francisco straight ahead. By the end of the day we made our way over to the bay. We were racing the sun, but day after day the sun always won, even if we kept on driving long after the day was done. We were racing the sun. As we could from the east, I was looking to find just a little different kind of state of mind. Car broke down on Route 101. You would be panicking, but you were having fun. If we had our way on that day, probably would have stayed. We were racing the sun, but day after day the sun always won, even if we kept on driving long after the day was done. We were racing the sun. We were racing the sun.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast. My story time. Okay, so he was talking about like all those long car rides, you know, where we're like, were you talking about that?
No, but that's okay. We've had many
He
long
talks
car
so
rides.
much.
That's what I was thinking about.
Well, we go on long car trips a lot, driving to places, and it's very, very nice. It's like, okay, we've been driving with him and Mom for a very long time, and there's only so much you can talk about. And
I can think of lots of things.
yeah,
There's only so much we can talk about.
so after a while, you get sort of bored of talking. Okay, I get sort
This
of bored
is
of
one
talking.
of the things we have to talk about.
Talking to these two. So this texting thing. Have you heard of it? It's really great because you can talk to lots of different people while you're driving. You don't have to talk to them. So I got this really great friend who keeps me company on the road when I'm driving and not wanting to talk to them. And she's here. Sarah Henry texts me a lot. Thank you. Thank you. And so I wrote a tune for her. This is a tune called The Helpful Guest. Which has nothing to do with texting, but I don't want to take too much time with my story. This is a tune.
You still need the tune, right?
Oh, yeah. in D. This is a tune called The Helpful Guest. If you'd want to hear that story, you can find me later. And we're going into another tune?
Yeah.
We're going into another tune. Whatever. now we have one more. So, we gotta make a deal. After this one, you all gotta be very like orderly and efficient, and you can go like clap, 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 and then stop, and take your stuff in there, and be ready to dance on time.
And dance in the shortest line.
Yes. All right, give a second. No, take this opportunity.
Yeah, we need to sit down and have a little talk.
You got your lines, right? And some of them are different lengths, but we want them all to be the same length. Super simple. Okay.
Keep that in mind.
And invite them all to the groove.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But now something else.
When is it?
What's
It's in
that?
June.
June. 13, 14, 15. Get your groove on. Be there. Okay, none of that. We're gonna do I wrote a rap a couple years ago called Contradance Etiquette for the Guys. And the one rule is that no one's allowed to like get in a tizzy and like offended, like this.
Okay, I don't think you can say no one's allowed to get offended. That's not really the way this works.
We'll try our best.
But you don't mean to offend
I don't
anyone.
mean to offend anybody. It's all good fun. And actually, it's just stuff we've noticed over the country. And actually, like, here in CDH, everyone's like really great. Like, this is our little inside joke. We'll laugh about all the other men. All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta come.
I've never
out.
performed this.
Yeah, this is a new one. We've never played this for other people. You gotta count me in.
It's all in good fun. I love you all. Dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you memorize all that I have got to say. Say it contra dance in a respectable way. Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you realize when you're dancing with the girl, you gotta think about more than the next twirl. Alright, first up on the docket is the older guys. Don't worry, I'm getting to the younger guys. You guys are supposed to be wise, so I'm surprised what I see happening with my own eyes. Just thinking dancing with a girl who's pretty and young. It's just contra dancing, I can flirt with this one. Damn, dog, what's wrong with you, son? She's 15 and you're 61. Don't care what you say. But put on her shoes and walk around for a couple miles. What you find in a beast of con old sweaty guys just might not be your style. Doesn't matter with whom you're dancing, old or young, or newbie or veteran. Stop acting like you're broke on a payday. Grow up and respect the lady. It's my hope you memorize all that I have got to say. Say a contra dance in a respectable way. Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you realize when you're dancing with a girl, you gotta think about more than the next twirl. Alright, younger guys, it's your turn. I'm gonna make your ego crash and burn. You think everyone's in love with you? Well, I got news for you. It ain't all about you. When you're gonna learn to dance best for your partner, best for your hands for, best for the whole line, best for the entire floor. That's the golden rule that you should live for. Stop treating common sense like it's a damn chore. Go ahead, call me old-fashioned. Dipping a girl without asking is lacking compassion. I've seen elbows crashing into heads that are bashing into the floor. And what for? Just so you can be the hottest guy on the dance floor? It doesn't matter with who you're dancing, old or young, or newbie or veteran. Stop acting like you're broke on a payday. Grow up and respect the ladies. Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you memorize all that I have got to say. So you contra dance in a respectable
dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you realize.
When you're dancing with a girl, you gotta think about more than the next twirl. You got your ash villains tearing up the scene, but you make Contra dancing look a little obscene. West Coast being all cool, but you can't dance Money Muscat dancing fool. Got your Greenfield, Cambridge, I'm your biggest fan. Sing a little snobby in New England. I love the dance community, it's got a hold on me. So fellas, let's make it better. Who's with me?
Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you memorize.
All that I have got to say a Contra dance in a respectable way.
Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you realize.
When you're dancing in long lines, you got to get her there on time.
Contra dance etiquette for the guys. It should not be a surprise.
Keep your hand off of her butt. Very much.
Etiquette for the guys. It's my hope you memorize, realize, memorize.